What's up guys, Everything Apple Pro here, and after spending just one day with the iPhone X, I'm simply enchanted. It is the most incredible iPhone I have ever used, and in this video I wanted to share with you my top 10 features that I experienced while using it. So these are 10 features you're not going to find on any other iPhone, and to me that have mattered the most after switching to the iPhone X from my iPhone 7 Plus and then the iPhone 8 Plus. So first off are the stainless steel borders. They look simply stunning. I mean, the look alone does it for me, but it really gives you this premium feeling, and in the drop test it seemed to absorb energy better and disperse it throughout the phone better than aluminum, and after all it ended up looking better, not as scratched, not as dented. So stainless steel borders on a smartphone, yes please. And of course that all glass design, which you can find on the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, it especially complements the stainless steel borders on the iPhone X. It just looks and feels so premium. I love it. Just holding it naked without a case feels great. I have noticed that the color is a little bit different versus the iPhone 8 Plus. It's a darker shade of space gray, which further complicates things as Apple's definition of space gray seems to change every single time they release a new product. It especially reminds me of the Mac Pro Tower. It's a very similar shade and feel of the color. And of course, the reason you're probably even considering the iPhone X is the star of the show, the new display, the 5.8-inch edge-to-edge organic LED display. And although I would have preferred it like this, which I think eventually we're going to get to this point, I would take it over the previous LCD any day. It just seems to sit on top of the glass instead of inside of it, like the LCD. Now this is also the sharpest display ever on an iPhone, but it is still a penile organic LED display, which also has quite a bit of flaws. Of course, moving on to Face ID, one of the other reasons you're probably buying the iPhone X, it's really a great replacement to Touch ID. Yesterday we put it through its paces, it's secure, it seems to work in almost every environment. It really is a true successor to Touch ID. Now with some software things figured out, I think it could get better, animations and all that, but right now I think it's a little bit below the speed of Touch ID. Certainly I think it could be faster with time. The double tap to wake feature is pretty cool. I don't see why every other iPhone can't have it, but it's nice to have it as an exclusive feature on the iPhone X. What drives me nuts though is trying to use the iPhone X on a flat surface. It just keeps wobbling and oh my gosh, it's so bad. The flashlight toggle on the lock screen is super convenient. I love it as an exclusive feature on the iPhone X. Don't really get the point of the camera one when you can just slide over, but it's also cool that you have to 3D touch on them so it doesn't activate on accident. The super underrated feature of the iPhone X is the touch input layer is 120 Hertz. That means in things like notes when you're drawing, you get a super crisp and fast response like you would get on an iPad with an Apple Pencil. Just try it out if you have one. It is crazy. Although the display doesn't get promotion, the touch input does, and it feels super great. Yes, the new button orientation does take time to get used to, but it actually makes more sense. The Siri button on the side, which replaces the power button, is very comfortable. Now you don't have to reach all the way down to the bottom of the phone to activate Siri. And to turn off the device, you have to hold the volume up and the power button, which saves you from accidental power button input in your pocket. And yes, I do love the new app switcher on the iPhone X. To get into it, slide up and over like a reversed L. It's a really great function on its own, but also to clear all in the app switcher is much faster. Just tapping those little minus buttons, much like on the iPad, is super quick instead of sliding each one up individually. I really like it. And by far, one of my favorite features of switching to the iPhone X is the bottom gesture control. Switching between applications has never felt more fluid and easy. It is just great, guys. If you ever get a chance to play around with an iPhone X, do this. It will sell you on the whole no home button thing. And the animojis. It's cool that Apple took their Face ID tech, something that is so complicated and technological, and turned it into something so fun. I think with time we'll see more and more from it, but it's just cool that you can do stuff like this in real time. Also a favorite of mine, on the lock screen, to hide your notifications just by not looking at them is pretty cool. As soon as you look over, they get unlocked, and this resets every single time you lock your device. It still applies to older notifications as well. Great for peeping eyes. And then there are more attention features, such as the display will not dim as long as you're looking at it, and notifications will not sound when you're also looking at your display. And as a bonus, reachability still is there. So even though it doesn't have a home button, you can still activate it in accessibility settings just by swiping down on the touch bar. On the iPhone X, the telephoto zoom lens is stabilized, and that's something the iPhone 8 Plus does not have. It's quite an impressive result. So just filming regularly, stabilization is pretty good. Usually on a Plus, when you go to 2x zoom, it does get a little bit worse, but this one has stabilization as well. As you can see, it's working overtime to compensate for my walking. I I'd say it does a pretty decent job at it. You can still see what I'm pointing at. And when I go beyond that, digital zoom, you can see we lose the stabilization. But at 2 times, it's pretty dang good. And after just spending 1 day with the iPhone X, those are my impressions, my top features from the iPhone X. A little bit more than 10, but you'll have to forgive me. This phone is seriously the most exciting thing to happen to tech in quite a long time. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.